What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Geek Out Room podcast. Don't forget you can watch our episodes over on the Sauceless Entertainment YouTube channel. You can also listen to our episodes over on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Just type in Geek Out Room podcast in the search engine and you should find us. Today, we're talking about Funko Pop going out of business. So, this is interesting news to me because I guess they reported, let me just make sure I got it correctly. I think it's a $1.4 million loss. No, $1 million loss. This comes from The Gamer, that Funko Pops might not last another year, as it reports a $1 million net loss. And as you can already see in my background, if you're watching this video, Funko Pop right there and Funko Pop right there. And then some other little figures and stuff like that, right? So I used to be a huge Funko Pop collector. I love collecting figures mostly because I love using them to decorate and they just look cool. Like I have an Itachi figure right there. One of the best purchases I've ever made in my life. Super dope, super detailed. Funko Pops are not super detailed, but they look really cool. And they have so many different little unique things depending on the character and time of its release, right? Like the one I have here is Ultra Instinct Goku, and I think it was a New York Comic Con exclusive, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember when I got it, but I loved it at the time. That's why I purchased it. And they're not that expensive. They're really not. So it was easy to justify buying them when I found a character in a Funko Pop that I really liked. And I didn't like Funko Pops at first because they just looked weird. And again, I like detail with my figures. I'm going to pay money. I like detail. But Funko Pops is just something about the collectability with them and the craze with Funko Pops that kind of, as a collector, kind of gets you hooked into them. But once you snap out of it, you snap out of it and you don't really come back. And I think that's part of the reason why they have seen a huge plummet. Also, and this is why I snapped out of it and stopped, there is too many, bro. There's one for every fandom. There's one for every other character. Let it be a popular character like Luffy from One Piece, for example, or Goku from Dragon Ball Z. There's so many iterations of one character, and not just for example, Goku has a lot of transformations. I can understand that. But then each transformation, each Funko Pop will have a variation of that Funko Pop, right? You'll have your chases, you'll have your all chrome, all wooden, all what, it'll just be variations of the exact same Funko Pop. So it just made the collection so massive and made collecting so big that's you don't want to keep up because it's not the most expensive figure to collect out of all the things. You can really run up a bag collecting, right? But just like physical media, just like DVDs, Blu-rays, and VHS tapes and all that stuff, it takes up physical space. If you have to keep buying these huge bookshelves and stuff to house your Funkos, at some point it becomes ridiculous. Especially in an era where a lot of people do not own homes; they just own apartments. And other living spaces, so they don't, or just buy a room now. That's a huge popular thing these last couple of years. So people don't have space for all these variations. They don't have space for all these figures, and so some have to go. And those are going to be the less detailed ones, like the Funko Pop ones, the ones they didn't really spend too much money on compared to the detailed figure Itachi I have or other things like that. Another thing that made Funko Pops really popular that I liked is that they were easy to get signed. And the Captain America, the zombie Captain America I have back there, I got signed by the person who, one of the people who were behind Marvel not Marvel Zombies, but the What If series in general. Right? So I got that signed by one of them. So it's easy to sign the cases and display them and preserve them, all that stuff. So Funko Pops have that kind of appeal to them. They can take them to conventions, or you can take them out and about, get them signed, display them really nice and pretty, etc., etc. That's also why I really liked Funko Pops. But like everything else, because so many people wanted to get them signed, they're so easy to get signed, at least the casing, the price for signing Funko Pops have skyrocketed over the last like 4 years. It's skyrocketed. It's become ridiculous. And I get it because you can sign, because how the case is, you can really sign quotables and all these things, and every single thing has a price tag on it. And I get it because there is resale value in it, but it's gotten ridiculous how much it costs to get a Funko Pop signed. It should never cost anyone $100 to sign a Funko Pop case. I'm sorry, unless it's like someone like Mark Hamill or like Harrison Ford, like just someone who does not sign very often. I can understand the price for Funko Pops being that high. Other than that, I just don't see the appeal in making Funko Pops that expensive to get signed. All right. I feel the same way about rookie cards and certain cards, but that's a whole different conversation. Sticking on the topic of Funko Pops, there's too many variations, man. And when you flood the market that much, the meaning behind collecting them, it doesn't really have that much appeal, right? Because there's 50 different versions of Luffy out there, right? And what's the point of me collecting? And then also chase Funkos, which is a specific variation. So like, let's just say for my Ultra Instinct Goku here, right? Let's say he has, I think he has purple aura on around his feet. So a chase variation of this would probably be like, it glows in the dark, right? Or something like that. Like that would be a chase variation. And chases are a lot more popular. Like when I think Luffy Gear 5, when that came out, the chase for that was ridiculous. So there are chase figures, which in theory is a great idea to have a chase figure because, and the name suggests, people will chase after it because it's a valuable variation to the Funko they already want or are going to buy or already bought, right? But because it's a chase, there's not as many, there's not supposed to be as many chase variations out there, so it makes it more rare and makes the hunt more and people shop more and blah, blah, blah. You get the ecosystem behind that. So that became ridiculously hard. It became ridiculously hard to find. I mean, like really difficult to find chases to the point where there was no point. All right. And I remember peak Funko Pop craze like 2-3 years ago, where even last year, really, where people would line up around the corner at Hot Topics before the mall even opened. People would try to sneak into the malls, and just to get in line at Hot Topic to get a not going mare. What One Piece? There was a One Piece. Was it Roger? I forgot what One Piece Funko was that was released that people just were lining out the door for. But maybe it was Gear 5 Luffy, I think. But like people would line up around the door for a Funko Pop. I'm sure they probably still do it, but I haven't seen it. I know Pokemon people do it for the cards, but I haven't seen it for Funko Pops in a little bit. So at least not as much as it was like for the last couple of years, because it was pretty bad. And also you can find Funko Pops any and everywhere, and that also decreases the value. You can find it at Walmart, you can find it at Target, you can find it at Dollar Tree. I'm not even kidding. You can find it at like your local gas station, dude. You can find there's so many Funko Pops. There's so much overproduction with Funko Pops that you can find them at your local gas station. You can find them at Five Below. You can find them anywhere, and they're not even like. And there's so many that they just don't seem valuable. Because when you go find them at other stores, other retailers besides like Hot Topic and stuff like that, and GameStop especially has a shit ton of Funkos. When you go to some of these places, they're just thrown all over the place. The shelves messed up, and so it's just because they're just a lot of them are just junk. They're worthless, to be honest with you. It's the junk right now. We're in the junk era of Funko Pops, if that makes sense. If you're into trading cards, like sports cards, you know what I mean by junk era. Just a bunch of not valuable stuff just being produced and no one really wants it. So I'm not surprised by this, and I just don't know how they get their value back unless they massively, and I mean massively, readjust their business. One would be stop the overproduction. Not every single property needs a Funko Pop. I'm sorry. I'm not into like this side of business, so maybe I'm just saying some shit what I'm about to say just doesn't make sense, and that's why I want y'all to comment below. Let me know your thoughts on what Funko could do to save it, or at least when did Funko Pop lose you? right? Answer those two down below. But for me, they can scale back production. They can make it like make deals, dude. Make licensing deals or whatever you gotta do. Like, for example, I would be talking to Toei Animation and be like, or whoever owns One Piece, and be like, Shonen Jump or whatever, and be like, hey, or Shueisha, and just be like, hey, we want to make Funko Pops for Luffy. We want to make Funko Pops for Roger. We want to make Funko Pops for Rocks or some of these other characters that are like manga exclusive. We want to make, or not manga exclusive, but then they're manga first and not going to be animating the anime for a while or whatever. And we want to make manga variations of this Funko Pop or something like that, right? I would talk to them, burn money on that, and make your Funko Pops that way. You know what I mean? Like, make it way more rare, cut back, and don't make so many variations. We don't need like 5 variations of Shanks. We don't need 10 variations of Rocks. We don't need we just don't need all this stuff, bro. Like, scale it back, right? Or we want to sign a deal with Marvel, because again, Marvel, you get so many people who want, like me, right, with my Funko Pop right there showed, where it's signed. A lot of people want Marvel actors and such and voice actors to sign their Funko Pops. Make a deal with Disney's and Marvel and be like, hey, Funko Pops are popular. It does us huge business. It does you good stuff. Let's sign like some kind of deal, right? Or DC, because DC is still, on the up and coming when it comes to movies. Marvel, Disney has their ecosystems still intact. So it would make more sense to say, hey, we won't produce DC Funkos anymore if we sign exclusive with Marvel. And we'll just do Marvel characters, and when we have Funko Pop pop-up events where we have an actor or something come through and do a signing event for Funko, like stuff like that. Just like scale down your business and put the money in places strategically that make sense, that make your brand, or make your, not even brand, your brand and product more valuable. Make it make more sense. Make people want to spend money on your product, because right now there's no reason. There's just no reason to buy Funko Pops for real. Like, yeah, I'm buying a Funko Pop. Cool. It's for Harry Potter. That came out X, Y, and Z years ago. But, it's just some of this stuff just doesn't make sense. So scale down. Make it more exclusive. Not something where it's like you're charging $80 to buy a Funko Pop. That's ridiculous. That's nothing. The resale value on these things are so ass that, like, Funko Pop, like a really hot one, you can get resale value pretty good for like a week, and then it just tanks. Even Funko Pops that have autos on it. Again, autos for Funko Pops are not cheap. Those have plummeted. I've seen people selling like anime Funko Pops, because that's really popular, because voice actors for anime, at least English dub anime characters, tour the country quite a bit. So it's really easy to get their autograph, which is another reason why Funko Pops have lost their value, even the autograph ones, is because these people sign a lot. They go to a lot of conventions a year. Every year they go to so many conventions that it tanks the value of their signature in terms of, for stuff like Funko Pops. The Funko Pop itself has already lost a lot of the value. Now getting it signed by someone who tours a lot tanks that value. So you spend like $100 and something to get someone's auto on a Funko Pop, and you're not getting that money back. You're not even zeroing it out. You're losing money probably every time at this point, right? And there are some exceptions. Again, if you're someone like Hayden Christensen, like some of those people, but even them, because he's been signing quite a bit for the last 2 years, on a Funko Pop anyway, the value will be a little funky. You'll still get bread, but even that's seen a decrease, right? So it gets real spooky. And so Funko Pops are just annoying to ship and handle. It gets annoying sometimes. So Funko Pops can get weird. And so it's just not always worth it. And the big Funko Pops just take up too much room. So those are a lot of my thoughts and opinions on Funko Pops. And I just think they need to scale back. I would not be surprised it don't last, because I just don't know how you just halt production like that. And I think they just need a break. I know Toys R Us is making a huge comeback. Now, Funko Pop, you could sign something with Toys R Us and make it like, I don't know, I don't want to say make it the exclusive retailer for Funko Pops, but you could do something where it's like, hey, like when a new Funko Pop comes in, one of those exclusive ones, like it'll be a Toys R Us exclusive, right? And they've done that too. They've done GameStop. Sorry, I made this video way longer, or this episode way longer than I wanted to, I guess. But there's just so much to unpack here. They've made so many variations also of exclusives for Comic Cons, exclusives for different retailers like GameStop, Hot Topic, Barnes and Nobles, whatever. And it's just too much. It's just way too much. And it doesn't feel exclusive. It doesn't, because in like a year or two, I'm going to be able to find that GameStop exclusive or New York Comic Con exclusive. I'll be able to find it either on the resale market for a lot cheaper because the value just tanked and there's no reason to hold on to it anymore. Or I'm gonna find it at Walmart or Five Below or something. Like I'm gonna find it. Again, because there's so many variations, I feel like there's so many Funko Pops that come out in waves every month or every 2 months or something. Like that's what it feels like every week. And that's the problem, is that I just feel like I'm not missing out. That's what's about something that's popular and exclusive or like really hot commodity, is that you feel like you're missing out, so you have to buy it today. And Funko Pop has not been that way in a really long time. The reason why Pokemon cards are so damn popular, or one of the many reasons why they're so damn popular, is because there's a feeling of missing out on something if you do not buy these cards. If you're not willing to wait in line at GameStop at 4 a.m. or 4 p.m. the previous day, right, to the Friday release or Saturday release or whatever, you're missing out. You're not going to be able to get your packs. And because you're not getting your packs, you're not going to be able to enjoy the rips. You're not going to be able to enjoy the rips. You won't get those exclusive cards. You get PSA. You're not PSA. You're not making money. You're not making memories. All these things. They're selling an experience at this point. Trading Card Company is selling an experience. And that's why they're on top. Because the experience still right now for Pokemon cards, the gold rush, I like to call it, is still high. It will because this economy and especially with Black Friday coming around and Christmas, the spending is going to be a little wonky because people are going to need to focus their money and income wherever they have to presents, to holiday shopping, to food, groceries for Thanksgiving and holiday. All these eating holidays are coming up, and people need bread for it. No pun intended. So the money is not going to really be going to some of these things. But you'll still see Pokemon events still be on a high because they're not just selling a product to you. They're selling an experience. If Pokemon wanted to do a Christmas exclusive limited edition pack for Christmas only, it would destroy the world. It would destroy the world. They do it already with regular stuff they produce. Let it be a limited edition 2025 Christmas run. It would destroy the planet. And that's because they sell a hot commodity. Funko Pops could not, there's nothing Funko Pops could do to replicate that type of event. And that's the issue. So like, comment, subscribe, and share. Let me know your thoughts again. Where did Funko Pops lose you if you were ever caught with them to begin with? And also, or let me know down below, what do you think Funko Pops could do to stay alive? Let me know. Can't wait to read and see your opinions and thoughts. See you all next one. Keep geeking out.